So the problem at the moment, we've got a lot of people looking to upgrade their properties. Interest rates are pretty low. The market seems to have
Very
stabilised.
hot, not a lot of property.
Pretty hot. So, so there's a lot of people looking to do it. But a lot of people don't really understand the issues, the finance issues with their loans in terms of transitioning from their existing property to a new property and what they are allowed to borrow and what they're not allowed to borrow. So maybe we should talk, Jason, about what that concept is, which is bridging finance.
Yep.
And the fact that there's what's called an open bridge and a closed bridge.
Yeah.
And the issues associated. So do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so the main issue when this comes up is that if you buy a new family home before you sell your old family home, and you approach the bank to get finance,
Yep.
In that scenario, the bank is going to assess that can you afford your current mortgage plus your new mortgage, which is usually going to be quite hefty if you haven't sold your other property. If under their assessment you can't afford both those mortgages, regardless of your intentions to sell your other property, you're at a pretty high risk that the bank isn't going to give you finance. And then obviously the purchase will fall over and you're at risk of losing your deposit.
And that's because the bank have to assess you on the basis, if you do that, that
Yep.
you can afford both loans.
Correct,
And
yeah.
most people can't.
Yeah, in most instances, most people can't because it's quite a hefty mortgage.
Two mortgages.
Two mortgages.
Two houses.
Two houses.
And no income necessarily coming
Correct.
in from either. Okay, perfect. So that's obviously a problem.
Yeah.
There are a category of people that are in a strong financial position that you can look at getting open bridges for, where they don't have a commitment.
Correct,
on
yeah.
the other side, but
There's
they
ways
are,
to work around that, yeah.
but they are risky and require quite a nuanced approach.
Yeah, that's right.
Perfect. So that's the problem with open bridges. And a lot of people, from what we were talking about before, actually assume that that's available. They think that they can go to their bank or buy a place that they see on the weekend and the bank are just going to lend them the money.
Correct, yeah. That's probably what we see the most commonly happening is that people think that the intention to sell their current family home, the bank should be able to assess what their end position is. That's not the case. The bank will always assess it as a net end position if you have an unconditional contract to sale, because that bridging period is actually closed when the settlement date is locked in, ready to go.
All right, so that's moving on. That's the closed bridge scenario.
Yes.
All right, so tell us, with this closed bridge, it's based on the person having already basically sold or a contract signed that they've sold their existing property. And when you have that closed bridge finance, people can generally get that.
Yeah, that's a lot easier to get. The bank will then lend you the whole amount of money, but assess it realistically on the net position because they have clarity and certainty over that net position because of that unconditional contract to sale.
Yeah, so they basically plan that there'll only be a short period of time, maybe 90 days, depending on settlements of sale.
90 days,
There'll be a short period of time where you'll have obviously an elevated interest cost on both loans still,
cost, yes.
and repayment, but they can normally find a way around that because they know that you're going to be cashing out.
They know what the end position is. You'll have to show that you have sufficient liquidity or money in the bank to carry that heightened debt for that period of time.
Yep.
But then the bank knows that, hey, once it settles, loan gets reduced, and then you're back to repayments at the rate which is suitable.
Okay, great. Now, are there any other problems or risks that we should highlight for people?
Look, I mean, it's generally not advisable to buy a property, a family home before you've sold your other ones. You're obviously hoping that the market's going to stay stable or continue rising.
Yep.
If you can't sell your house or your current property at the price that you thought, you might have to liquidate it at a shorter cost.
If you've already committed to a new one.
If you've already committed, yeah. So there are some significant risks in doing it this way.
So what we were saying before was that if you are interested in upgrading your home, you really need to have your ducks lined up in terms of a bit of an advanced plan on selling your existing place, just in case you open the paper or your computer on the weekend, find a place you love.
And COVID-21 happens.
Yeah, and you're stuck with a long period of time to get your existing place into a condition.
Correct, yeah.
Perfect. All right. Oh, I think that outlines, people need to be aware of the fact that If you are going to be upgrading your property, you do need to have a plan for selling your existing one and relatively advanced. You do need to have spoken to your finance broker who really is familiar with bridging finance and the options with closed bridges, potentially open bridges, and how to negotiate all those things. Obviously, Jason, you do a lot of that. And you've been doing
a lot of closed, a lot of open as well. I mean, look, the banks will work with you under the right circumstances if you haven't sold your property. They might give you shorter term home loans over a year that they then review yearly, which can kind of force you to sell.
Yep.
They may make you fix in portions of your loan so that you have certainty over interest rates as well. And they may even ask for you to provide them exclusive sales agreements with real estate agents to ensure that you actually do have your property on the market. They will work with you with an open bridge, but it's
not straightforward.
Not straightforward at all.
Perfect. All right. Well, hopefully that's clarified a few of those issues around upgrading your home and some of the timing issues. Jace, good to have you back. Good to see you again.
Back.
And look forward to the next video.
Yep. Excellent. Thanks,
Cheers.
James.